You are watching MarketWatch, the brief overview of the key events from the world of finance. On Monday, the volatility was very low. The euro-dollar currency pair was trading in a range not exceeding 50 points. At the same time, over the last 2 trading days of last week, buyers managed to add more than 150 points, overcoming a strong technical resistance of 1.07. But given the absence of important macroeconomic publications from Europe and the United States, volatility may remain moderate. And only the appearance of information indicating the Fed's willingness to raise the rate can provoke a strong enough wave of sales. It is also necessary to closely monitor all the comments of ECB representatives, which may indicate the prospect of a change in monetary policy. Unlike the Federal Reserve, the ECB is not preparing to raise the rate, but is only trying to convince investors of the ability to keep it at the achieved level. I will also draw attention to the weakness of buyers of the pound-dollar currency pair, who are unable to continue growing above the resistance level of 1.2320. One of the growth drivers for buyers of this currency pair was the third vote for an increase in the key interest rate of the Bank of England. And although the rate remained unchanged, investors received a signal indicating the readiness of the British regulator to raise it in the future. This is an unlikely scenario, which may become even less likely in the event of the release of disappointing data on changes in GDP growth in Britain for the third quarter. Analysts surveyed by Bloomberg do not rule out a decrease in GDP by 0.1% in the third quarter of this year. This forecast also takes into account the growth of the economy of the foggy Albion by a modest 0.5% in annual terms, with inflation of 6.7%. Shifting to the precious metals market, we again see a clear weakness of buyers. And although the activity of sellers remains moderate, we should not forget about the risk of developing a really strong wave of sales. At the moment, this scenario remains unlikely, since the geopolitical situation is extremely complicated and may worsen at any moment. Nevertheless, the markets are already showing relative calm, which is a bearish fundamental factor for gold. The return of quotations below $1,980 is a bearish signal, but there are still many obstacles in the way of sellers. The main one is located in the Middle East. And in conclusion, let's talk about increasing interest in the cryptocurrency market. The latest wave of growth has attracted the attention of retail investors, which is reflected in the overall increase in search queries, as well as an increase in interest rates on borrowing stablecoins. A higher interest rate means that more traders are willing to pay for borrowing stablecoins, in the hope of their growth. But let me remind you once again that a bullish scenario is possible subject to the approval of the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, one of the applications for the creation of a Bitcoin ETF, or the appearance of another equally strong bullish fundamental factor. That's all I have. Follow the news carefully and be prepared for all the surprises of the market.